Hi, Stu Turley, CEO and President of Sandstone Group. Hey, just want to share with you a couple things going on in the energy space this week, and I think you'll see that my good buddy Michael Tanner and I have had podcasts over the last several years, and we've always had a lot of fun on our podcast, and it's even been more fun because we've been right on the energy space. And Michael was always kind of teasing and saying, hey, wait a minute, inflation's not going to be here. And I was the bull on inflation. I was saying, boo crap, inflation is on the way. And sure enough, we are now in not only inflation, but inflation is part of a commodities boom. Commodities boom is where the wealthy get richer and the poor get poorer and the middle class goes away. So the energy crisis is here, and what that's going to do is make this even far worse, the worst commodities boom we've ever seen. That commodities boom, this is the fourth in history. Energy is now playing such a big part. And you know, the sad part is, it's not a matter of whether or not we go to renewables. We need to go to renewables, but the plans that are out there are not right. We're not using all forms of energy to get the lowest form of energy, the lowest kilowatt per hour to all people of the world. And that is, let's sacrifice our energy usage. Let's figure out how we can take that and then give that money and that savings to the other countries. Let's let them get to an energy low kilowatt per hour that we can try to use, except when you force it to go to renewables without the support of either nuclear or natural gas. What's happening right now, we predicted quite a while ago, and Alex Epstein has just started talking about his book coming out. I believe it's in April of 2022, and he's saying what we've been saying for a long time. The more we go renewables, the more fossil fuels we're going to use. Again, this is not a question of whether or not we go to renewables. We do need to. How we get there is the critical part. We got to use nuclear. We got to use natural gas. And natural gas brings up a real big point right now. Natural gas is a real problem. And that is, you have Putin, and I called it as well too almost a year ago with Nord Stream 2. The problems going on in the Mediterranean are the Club Med. You have Turkey in disputes with Cyprus. You have the Leviathan field, where Israel is now able to start really pumping gas. You have, that is such a rich field. You have Turkey over into the Black Sea now drilling. You've had some real problems with Afghanistan and then Turkmenistan. 90% of their whole budget is energy exports. And so you sit back and take a look. Europe, Germany was the poster child of green, absolute poster child, and they are now in a major trouble because Nord Stream 2 drops all the way down and it drops into Germany. So Russia's pipeline, and our current administration said we're not going to do any sanctions on it. Well, the EU has not gone through and approved it. So all of a sudden, the pipeline coming through, I believe, Uzbekistan and Poland started going the other way. And so Putin said, hey, it's not a big deal. Yeah, it is. It's called blackmail. Putin is about as smart as you can possibly get, and he is playing chess. I would not want to play chess with Putin. And so what he's doing right now is he's telling the European Union, oh, by the way, hey, go ahead and, approve my Nord Stream 2. I'll keep the gas on, but at what price? So what you're going to see next is you're going to see Saudi Arabia come around, and Saudi Arabia is wonderful. They've got a long-term plan. They are going to go green, but they're going to go to green using fossil fuels fuels to pay for it. Those fossil fuels are going to be used to also produce hydrogen. They have already come out and they're going to do green and blue hydrogen. Green hydrogen being that they're going to use renewables. Blue hydrogen is when they use natural gas and use it so that it's not green, but it is less CO2. And they announced about a month ago now that Saudi Arabia is going to have a surplus at the end of 2022. Let's do some math. That math means that when you sit back and go, Saudi Aramco had to borrow billions this year in order to pay the Saudi government social programs. Those social programs are a gigantic budget. First time Saudi Aramco ever had to go into debt in order to pay their burden, their fair share of the burden. Well, guess what's going to happen next? That is, they're going to need to see, by my crayon calculations, $120 to $135 an oil average for next year in order to meet that surplus. So you take the numbers of Saudi Arabia, let's go through those numbers, and you say, hey, wait a minute. Who's putting money on whether or not what gas is going to do next year? I'm going to put my money on the Saudis. They've got a great long-term plan for the Saudis. Putin has a great long-term plan for Russia. The United States, not so much. What we need to do is the United States needs to take the next step. Let's take an extension of NAFTA. Let's go ahead and now call it, I hate to use the word NOPEC, North American Organization of Petroleum, kind of like OPEC, but for NOPEC. NOPEC's probably not the right name, but folded up under NAFTA, the treaties are already there. Trade with Mexico, we are already doing a lot. Doing more of the gas back and forth. Why don't we trade with each other, get less Russia LNG coming out of the Arctic, which is really bad because they're not doing all the good ESG practices, and there's no accountability in Gazprom. Gazprom has zero accountability. So let's go ahead and try to take care of the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. That's about the world in the energy crisis coming up. It's even going to get worse. So buckle up, get your flight suit, and thanks for watching the Energy News Beat podcast. Appreciate y'all. And you're going to have a great Thanksgiving.